It's true. I actually wanted a shoe in every color. Here's a little bit of my story. Growing up, I needed a pair of shoes for school. And then for the more festive occasions, I needed something else. My mom would make us the most beautiful clothes. And each time I looked down, I would see the same pair of shoes. When I got my first job, one of the first things that I did was buy a pair of shoes, and then another, and then another. But I want you to hit pause on my story because I want to talk about two key terms that make a phrase: psychology and money. So psychology is simply a study of the human mind, and it focuses on those functions that affect behavior, but always within a given context. Money is simply currency. It's the way that we access the things that we want in our society. And so it's this collection of coins and banknotes. The psychology of money is the study of one's behavior with money. It is our predisposition towards funds in order to do what it is that we desire to do. For some of us, the way that we treat money is learned, observed, or experienced. What is key is that it affects the way that we think and eventually becomes a habit of the mind. For example, growing up, my mom was a cash and pay person. My dad was a buy now, pay later person. My mom was a look for a sale person. My dad was a look on the shelf person. My mom was a think about it, look at it, leave it, go back and get it buyer. But my dad was just simply, is it available? I'll take it now. There are many different ways in which my behavior has been shaped by this. And perhaps one of the most impactful is my dad decided that he wanted to retire early to focus on church and community and family. So he decided that he would pay off his mortgage at a younger age. A habit of the mind impact and inform our decisions to such a degree, many of our actions can be predicted. Choices versus decisions are extremely important, especially when they relate to money matters. And here's why. Our choices are simply the alternatives that we have. Should I buy this now or should I buy this later? If there's a need and there's a want, why can't I have both? If it's on sale, does that not make it a necessity? Our decision is the way we resolve these dilemmas. But our very best framework is formed during periods when we are not stressed. So we plan in times of certainty for times of uncertainty. Eventually, we form habits of the mind. The intellectual behavior that leads to productive or maybe not so productive actions. In times of certainty, your actions, your habits, whether they're good or bad, will prevail. But in times of uncertainty, when we are caught off guard, then it's our good habits that preserve us to the most difficult moments in life. New habits always take time. A significant part of this idea of habits of the mind and the psychology of money is where we are and where we want to be will take time. Any journey is going to be shortened when we actually make a move. Being stuck is not an option. Whether it's a money decision or it's a life decision, we often have to determine how to move forward, which means that we have to exercise mind over matter, purpose-driven in what it is that we decide that we want to do. Make decisions that manage our money and not allow our money to manage us. Wisdom over will. Once our model can accommodate it, then we can consider both our needs and wants. Make your habits best practices. Take stock and adopt. Put everything in writing. Your income, outflows, and your obligations. Treat income as limits, as boundaries, as parameters. You cannot spend more than you earn without adding stress. So before you mortgage tomorrow, take assessment of the weight that you have to carry today and whether or not you'll be able to carry both in the future. Prioritize basic life needs like food and shelter. And if this is sounding like something that you've heard before, it's probably because you're thinking in the same direction, and that's the need for a budget. A budget is simply a plan. A plan that you don't follow was just a waste of your time. A plan that you don't follow could turn out to be a future regret. And finally, always think surplus. Think of surplus in three ways. What can I save, sell, or give? Remember, one man's junk is another man's treasure. What about the things in our closet or in our yard? There are some ways that we can generate additional support, others that we can enhance in the lives of others by giving. So let's look again at my story. 2 pairs of shoes, one black, one white. I did not factor in the opportunity cost of buying a shoe. When I purchased a pair of shoes, I gave up an investment. I forfeited an experience. If I had 12 pairs of shoes, I could actually wear one shoe for a month and then change to another. If I had 24, I could wear one pair of shoes for 2 weeks, just go on to another, and so forth. At a junction in my life, I began to hit pause and ask, what is the opportunity cost of this decision over another? Here's what I realized. There was a maturation in the way that I began to think. I didn't need a shoe in every color, but I certainly could have a few shoes of different colors. It brings us back to the decisions that we make, in the psychology of money, the things that inform and push us to make certain decisions. For me, it started with a pair of black and white shoes, and then it led into something that became a habit that I eventually had to unlearn. In times of financial crisis, and particularly when we face unplanned events, one step shorten the journey. Eventually, distance will not be as far as it seems. The decisions we make, we have to live with them, with victory or regret. The psychology of money. The way we think about money, our predisposition to it, is important for uncertain times. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter.